We are live, people. We are live. We are live at 9 o'clock, let alone anything else. Let me just turn this thing over here because I don't want you to see all the studio equipment. Welcome to Talk Talk Live. We are live here on IG and YouTube. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. We are back again. And we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. Yes, spring summer line out now. I'm wearing some of the spring summer line right now. So, not to say I'm not sponsored, not to say that I don't have an opinion on this one topic that is befuddling YouTube. Yes, indeed. It says basketball here if you did not know. It is B-A-S-K, basket, and then ball on the back, if you see. Spin around, ball. And there you go. Anyways, yes, we are back. We are live on Talk Talk Live. Thank you for joining me. And we're going on to part 2 of the Just Pearly Things controversy. Now, again, last week on her Just Pearly Things topic, we had discussed yesterday. We started yesterday, and we were discussing Just Pearly Things and her comments on slavery and her comments on the Holocaust and her views on many different things within the black culture that weren't exactly well received, and not well received by me and many of the African diaspora, quite simply, because but again, she has her critics and she has her supporters, not only of and of all races, creeds, and colors, quite simply. And you know, it's good that we can discuss this in open view right now, because again, she existed in if you didn't know about Pearly Things, she existed in a black space. She exists in the within the quote unquote black manosphere, following on the heels of Kevin Samuels, saw an opportunity and went after it, and was quite successful at growing a 1.3 million subscriber count. And she's very, very well publicized, not only on YouTube but also on TikTok. So again, that's how she grew her family. That's how, she has, even though she doesn't have any experience, she speaks on many views to which a lot of black men who grew her channel, quite simply, she filled the void that Kevin had created for us all. And I think if Kevin Samuels still exists, there's no Just Pearly Things. There is no Just Pearly Things if Kevin Samuels is still alive today. And quite simply, it was a case of, she stepped into the breach. She spoke on black talking points. She denigrated black women to a certain extent, and she grew a fan base. She grew an audience. Now, again, her talking points were indeed supported by black men, and they weren't too far off. But the fact of the matter is, she said to herself, you know what? I've got 1.3 million subscribers. I've built a fan base from black men, so therefore I'm going to diversify my content and my guests on the show. And she invited well-known right-wing and white supremacist Nick Fuentes on one show, and it got a little ugly. So let's have a recap of that. Quite simply, I'm just going to go to the browser. We already have it queued up here on just that is something we're going to view in a minute. But I just wanted you to hear back from the commentary of what she said on the show, in which she took a few. Again, people say she spoke out of context. We're going to see that a little later. But she took things out of some people would say she took things out of context, but we don't think so. I think these are her actual views. I think that this is not one where she had, she was clipped up and framed in any way, shape, or form. I think, quite simply, this is what she believes in terms of her outlook. Let me just stop that right there, if I can. There we go. We finally did. Jesus, it took a while. Anyways, these are some reviews that she again got off on, and shout out to Peter from the business channel on YouTube, which again took her to task on some of her views that she has since taken down because she doesn't want to be caught being out of turn in terms of reviews, but she was caught. quite simply. And some people are left with egg on their face who are supporters, and including myself, and some, including, as we've talked about yesterday, mediocre tutorial reviews have decided to disavow themselves from being supporters of Just Pearly Things, and we were made to find out that white people will step into certain spaces which are deemed for black folk and will profit from it, and such as you look at no jumper as well as no jumper as well as Vlad TV. And again, white people who've gone into the black space, built an industry and on black talking points, and have gained a vaunted platform within the space. And we fell for the okie doke again with Just Pearly Things. And quite simply, the fact of the matter is she didn't have any experience to speak on these certain terms, but the fact that she did speak on these terms gained a lot of support. So much so that she grew her channel to exponential numbers, to a point where she had 1.3 million subscribers, and in and of itself was able to expand her platform to speak on such racist views that she had herself. But anyways, let's hear those views right now, quite quickly. Just to recap.
But they want to make it like more horrible, so that they can.
Let's go back. Let's go back here for a second. Let's get it from the start here. Just a clip as to what she said. Hopefully my internet has come to play today. And there we go. Oh, looks like she was here for a while. So let me go back a little bit. Thank you for joining me on Talk live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Sponsored by Dun Talk, of whom the tracks that we have out now is available now on Dun Talk, DUNTALK.com. Let's go. Holy heck.
Me now, because you're going to have to justify this. And you're going to have to justify why it is that Jason said it the whole time, and you were defending it the whole time, and you're just now saying something. By the way, yeah, you all thought she was going to leave it alone. That wasn't Fuentes who brought up the black people this time. He talked about him being late, and then she brings up the black folk around.
Let's go back a little bit further here. Sorry I didn't have this queued up a little earlier, but we're going to get to it. Yes, indeed. And I think we are ready to go. Goodness gracious.
A lot of people would like to be a YouTuber because they'd like to hear, they'd like people.
Okay, now let me back up just a little bit more here, because he's talking about people being hardworking. He's talking about people in general from various other places. I think he mentioned Germany. But I want you to get the full context of this, so when she says what she says, it smacks you upside the back of the head like a cinder block.
I was like, stop, no. They all said I was crazy. Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? Austin.
Well, but hey, you're very industrious.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that would like to be a YouTuber because they'd like to hear, they'd like people to care about their opinions and like what they ate for lunch and things about my life that just make sense.
Now, just a reminder to you here. Again, we're trying to encapsulate all of her comments here in terms of slavery, and in terms of lateness and that sort of thing, where she just takes little jabs and jives at things. But not only that, but she also had something to say about only wanting to work with Africans rather than African Americans, and she is a citizen of the United States, and that's probably the reason why she moved to London, her production to London, rather than staying in the States, because she has a little problem with black people over there. But anyways, we're going to get into it here.
Or whatever, but how many people could make a company and deal with the things you deal with, like recruiting and, because I mean, not on the same scale as you, but I do things, and it's tough. It's a business. It's fun in front of the camera, but behind the scenes, it's a business. and that is a German attribute, to be industrious. I'm Italian. The only times I'm on time for things is when I like get the time wrong, when I think I'm supposed to be there way earlier than I'm actually supposed to be there. Because I thought I was supposed to be here at 3.
Oh, really?
That's why I texted you. I texted you I'm on my way because I thought I was already 10 minutes late when I was leaving.
Yeah, well,
So-
it's okay. Blessing was more late African.
Well, he's black.
Yeah.
Piss take number 1. Piss take number 1. When she wanted to refer to her staff as being late and, go on that old stereotype of, black people being late, black people lacking industriousness, and she having a good old laugh because of it. Because, again, she's in a vaunted position now. She doesn't really need those people anymore who helped get her to where she wants to go. But let's continue.
Where are all the folks who said I was a hater? Where are all the folks who were sitting up here saying, well, Jason, you reaching, you stretching? Where are all of them now? I want to know where all of them are after tonight. Yeah, ha, 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 he, what's so damn funny?
Nothing wrong funny about that.
What's so damn funny now?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, before this...
And again, I fell for it too. Hands up.
What's so damn funny now? You can't lie and say you didn't see this. Jason Black has been talking about this now for over a year, for about 2 years now. And I've been naming this chick in particular.
Jason Black.
I said it from day one. Hey, she doesn't need to be given any space around here. I said it the whole time. Where are the folks who are sitting up criticizing me now? Because you're going to have to justify this. And you're going to have to justify why it is that Jason said it the whole time, and you were defending it the whole time, and you're just now saying something. By the way, yeah, you all thought she was going to leave it alone. That wasn't Fuentes who brought up the black people.
No, she did not.
He talked about him being late, and then she brings up the black folk around her. You know, those cute little African pets that she has working for her. She's the one who brings them up. Not Fuentes.
And he's right. He didn't bring it up. He's talking about her being, a Caucasian, partly German and industrious. And he entered into the fact that he was late for the show today. But again, she entered into the fray that, black people are always late. And I have one right here in front of you who is always late. So don't feel bad. We got somebody worse than you. And there she is, Kiki saying everything's all right, right? Hell, I got 1.3 million subscribers. I don't need y'all right now. I don't need y'all anymore. I've got what I wanted.
You know why I let that whole clip play with that whole segment like that? So you can get the whole context. Oh, let me go ahead and back it up. Jason, I was a coon, a fool, but are you going to really keep humiliating me? Oh, you damn right I am.
When I was leaving.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Blessing was more late African.
Well, he's black.
Oh, the laughing, yep. That laughing is way too, she enjoying that.
He's really offended.
Is he? Because he didn't leave. It's because he's black. Folks, this isn't 2 years ago.
Nope.
This is 2 weeks ago. Let me say this again. This video isn't from 2 years ago or 2 months ago. This is from 2 weeks ago. What in the hell have all of you people who've been showing up on her channel, what the hell were you all thinking? Oh, I'm showing you. What the hell were you thinking? Did you do any paperwork check? Or does it even matter to you? Because judging by some of these hairlines and some of these attitudes, I don't know. But by the way, if I was aware of this from day one, how in the hell is it that I was aware this was happening and I was aware of this weeks ago and you didn't check the pedigree, you didn't check the technique, you didn't check the paperwork?
Yep. He's absolutely right.
Jason knew about it.
Shout out to Jason Black from the business.
Get to naming names in a moment. Jason, you showing faces, you going sideways. Oh, no. I'm going to name names before it's over. I just want to make sure that we saute the chickens before they come home to get roasted. Y'all got a lot of damn explaining to do. You got a lot of explaining to do why white mommy don't bother you. So these kind of things don't bother you. You still gonna say Jason is reaching? How many of you are so brain dead and cooning that you're still gonna give white mommy a pass for what you just clearly heard?
Yep.
Oh, folks, we're not done yet. Jason, we dead on the ground. Can you leave us? We on life support. Look here, we're just gonna put you out to damn misery. Cause if you thought you heard the worst, no, you ain't heard the worst yet.
Yep.
All of her supporters, I'm gonna let this play here so that this goes in context, so nobody can say I took it out of its context. Tell me, how do you explain away this?
One way.
Yeah.
America being one. That was when more immigration happened and the culture. We sort of lost the culture.
Yeah, because the lesson of World War II, based on the horrors of the Holocaust, is like, this is
They
what
started it on
happens
the Holocaust.
when nationalism
This is where it
runs
began.
wild.
Now, this is what
nationalism
Nick Fuentes brought up.
The argument was the Holocaust was not special and all countries have done that.
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
you're saying, why is the Holocaust special?
Yeah, basically.
Oh. What do you mean, basically?
Well, yeah, I mean, because of course, we're getting into the details of it, but yeah, that's the gist.
Yeah, I mean, but you kind of deny it happened.
Yeah, I deny some of the parts of
You
it.
deny parts of it don't seem realistic to you. You
Right.
think they're embellished upon.
I think they're embellished. Yeah.
The same way. This sounds.
Now, okay. Now, you see, there it is. Just quickly, and then we're going to get into more views. It's going to be more views days. I'm just recapping what happened yesterday. Mr. Fuentes, Nick Fuentes, whatever, he came forward and talked about the Holocaust, and he was denying the Holocaust. He said that most of it was exaggerated. He said Jews died, but not as many as people thought. 6 million was, an exorbitant sum to them, even one dying is an exorbitant sum. But to him, 6 million was an exorbitant sum, anyways. And he thought that the Holocaust was for the most part exaggerated. And then Just Pearly Things gets a brainwave, and it is here where she said, "To hell with my 1.3 million subscribers that was built upon black confidence and pretty much black talking points and black subscribers. No. This is the time where I'm going to let everybody know how I really feel about something completely different. Well, not really completely different, but on a topic that really goes against my main constituency. Let's go."
They're gonna
You're
be
gonna
in
get
trouble.
yourself
This sounds similar to the slavery stuff too, because that's literally the founder or the guy who made Roots said, "I wanted a myth for my people to live by." So they often, but that's what they do is they embellish. And I'm not trying.
I mean, Nick Fuentes right there. If you saw his name face on Talk Live on YouTube, I'm playing it right now. If you saw his face, it was a knowing look saying, "Hey, that's a right-wing neo-Nazi talking point. Yes, well done, Pearly. You're doing my job for me. You're doing my job for me." First of all, I can't believe he's on Just Pearly Things, because Just Pearly Things has pretty much been supported by black folk. Secondly, he can't believe that the host is not even pushing back on the subject, that he's actually agreeing with her and moving forward with said point. Stunning. So, now you're getting to the essence of what Pearly really thinks about slavery. We continue.
Was it horrible? It was.
Right.
But they want to make it like more horrible so that they can control people.
Go ahead, Jason.
Now, that's her in her own words.
Yep.
2 weeks ago, not 2 months ago.
Yep.
2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So for those of you at the beginning talking about, well, Jason, what's Israel and Palestine got to do with this? Because they start warming up with that one, with the white people who are not considered to be whites enough because they remind them of niggas.
Mm-hmm.
So you listen for them to start giving you the warm-up act, and then eventually when they get warmed up, they're going to come to us, and they're going to be stomping. So how do you explain away that one? You're just gonna have to tell us that you agree with that, right? Because that's what you're gonna have to say if you condone her or condone her in your presence. You're gonna have to say that you agree with that. That you agree that she's just got a difference of opinion about slavery, that slavery was exaggerated.
Yeah.
Those are not Jason Black's words, those are hers.
Got to admit, got to agree. Those are her words. That's what she adheres to. Now, the thing about it is, it's like you don't have pushback from another side. You think that Just Pearly thinks because she has black talks, because she has black talking points, even though she may not have the experience in these talking points, that she would push back on these things. But no, she actually agrees with them and goes one step further to talk about slavery as being exaggerated. To say that Alex Haley's documentation on Roots was a myth. You can't make this, as the Godfather used to say, you can't make this shit up. This is her. These are her views on said subject. And it is a bit disingenuous for her to be talking about black topics, whose fan base is mainly black, for her to turn around and slap him in the face as such. But then again, she's a white girl, right? She's already got her number. She's already rich as is, so she can tell you what the hell she wants to tell you now. That's the reason why she invited Nick Fuentes on in the first place. This was her coming out party. This was her coming out party. Be expecting more people like this and her views to be put forward, because quite simply, she's done the work. She's already got her fan base. She's already got her base. She's already being paid. She's already good. So I'm gonna let loose with what I want to talk about. And she continues.
So many members of the black winosphere cooning their way through life. They got a whole lot of explaining to do now, don't they?
Even I gotta explain.
Again, maybe they don't, because you got to understand, when you are accustomed to kissing white ass, you will just explain away anything and see how many other folks go along with you. But after tonight, you will not be able to claim that you didn't see it and you didn't know it. Oh, you do now. You certainly do now. Let me go ahead, Jay-Z. I'm going to back it up because I know it's going to hurt you. I'm going to back it up.
Immigration is a big part of globalization. You have all these people, because this has been going on in Europe since the 50s and 60s, actually.
Oh, so you're saying that was the end of Europe being one way,
yeah,
and America being one. That was when more immigration happened, and the culture, we sort of lost the culture.
Yeah, because the lesson of World War II, based on the horrors of the Holocaust, is like, this is what happens when nationalism goes awry. This is what happens when nationalism goes
But your
too far.
argument was the Holocaust was not special, and all countries have done that.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so you're saying, why is the Holocaust special?
Yeah, basically.
Oh. What do you mean, basically?
She's thinking about it. Right there, she's thinking about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, because of course, we're getting into the details of it, but yeah, that's the gist.
Yeah, I mean, but you kind of deny it happened.
Yeah, I denied some of the parts of it.
You deny parts of it don't seem realistic to you. You
Right.
think they were embellished upon.
I think they're embellished, yeah.
The same way. This sounds. Oh gosh.
Yep. Here she comes. This is her. This is just Pearly. This is her opinion.
Stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Brute said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by. So they often, but that's what they do, is they embellish. And I'm not trying to say it wasn't horrible. It was.
Right.
But they want to make it like more horrible.
Oh my god. Well, I wouldn't say millions. Thousands of people hang their head in shame because they backed this lady to the hilt, and this is how she repays them. But this was coming. This was absolutely coming. This woman came from privilege. This woman came from an all-white background. Believe me, these views were there. She saw an opportunity. She took it. She went. She made her money, and now she made her money. She can let everybody know how she really feels on certain subjects, including slavery.
So that they can control people.
You know noticed she kept saying it. They want to make it more horrible, you know, about it. I want to talk about it. The word is slavery. So she's fully aware of what she's doing. She called herself, I know they're going to get me for this, but you see, she's been sitting on this so long.
Yeah, she has.
Sitting around your ignorant boot-licking asses.
Yeah.
You've been sitting here showing her and reinforcing to her every nigga.
Can't even lie about that.
She had, 'cause she's like, they can't even see the snake that I am. They're so desperate to get next to me that they're willing to accept this serpent that is so obviously sitting in front of them. So she just can't sit on it anymore.
And the thing about it is she has a black staff, she has black employees, she has black on-air personalities working with her, and the fact of the matter is they back her 100% because they're getting paid by her. They're garnering views, they're garnering subscribers through her content, through her channel. So guess what? She has a paid-in base where if she goes off the rails like this, they're going to back her place. Oh, she ain't racist. Really? 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 Okay.
Of your deficient brain dead ass is so long she can't even pretend that she likes you anymore. At some point I told y'all, like Laura Schlesinger and the others, when people said, Jason, why is it that Dr. Laura Schlesinger, with all that millions of dollars and the pull that she had and the contracts and everything else, why did she sit up here and have to demand and say nigga, nigga, nigga? Because that's what she really wanted to say. And she spent so many years being denied it. And being white is supposed to be, as Malcolm X said, white is supposed to mean free. It means I do what I want. And if I cannot call you nigga to your face, if I cannot deny slavery, if I cannot brutalize you and deny your humanity, then obviously I'm not in charge, you are. So if I cannot deny your humanity, violate your rights, desecrate your ancestors, then I'm not in charge.
And the fact of the matter is, so many of our people are so brainwashed and so out of sorts, and they're so out of code on these certain subjects that they'll let her say something like this and agree with her. And literally agree with her. Say, get over it. It's over. It's racism. They'll have no backbone to say, no, you're not allowed to say that. Jews have a backbone to say, no, they're not allowed to say that. Chinese would have a backbone saying, no, she's not allowed to say that. Indians would have a backbone saying, no, she's not allowed to say that. But it's only us black people will allow a white person to come out and literally take strips off us and take from us, and we'll call her a goddess. Still. Only us. We don't stand on code.
Tell me right now.
We don't stand on code.
Hey, mediocre tutorials. Hey, Melanie King. Hey, lead attorney.
And we're going to lead attorney in just one moment. We're going to get to lead attorney in just a second. But shout out to Meal Tutorial and Reviews. He disavowed her on this subject and literally cut ties with her, which is the responsible thing to do if you are black. That's a responsible thing to do. If somebody's insulting you in your face, you don't let her go saying, "Oh, it's all right. You can insult me to my face about, you know, my previous history and literally call me, well, the N-word in front of my face in whatever form it may take." As has King Richards has said. And we're going to hear from the lead attorney too, and a few others as well. But Mediocre Tutorial Reviews did the responsible thing and said, you know what? I'm not making any content with you. I'm disavowing myself from you. Because quite simply, you took the piss on me and called it rain.
How many of y'all who were so desperate to get her approval, so desperate to get next to white mommy, that you willingly sold out your souls and what little integrity or character you may have had left in order to get a pat on the head from her in the desperate hopes of appearing next to a white host, even though they are openly mocking black people, and you hoping it's going to get you just a few more subscribers so you won't have to go back to Five Guys and get a real job. Come on down here and explain this now. Come on down here and explain this. All you clowns in the black winosphere, all of y'all over there, I'm not gonna say some of your names. Nigga, you ain't gonna eat off of me. Make your clickbait for something else. You ain't gonna eat off. I ain't beefing with you. You ain't gonna eat off of me.
Well, we're gonna stop it there because that was just a little background. So, anyways, everybody knows where we're at right now. At this point in time, Just Pearly Things wants to get more Africans into the United States because she doesn't like the rank and file. I believe she doesn't. This is my opinion, not hers. She doesn't like really African Americans to a certain extent. She likes successful ones. She likes the rich African Americans, but in terms of the rank and file, she hasn't had any sort of previous history with them, so she rather disavowed themselves with that. And she likes Africans over African Americans. She wishes there are more Africans in the United States because they're more hardworking, as were said by previous comments. But let's move on. Let's move on swiftly. We have a background of her views on certain subjects, and we replayed it on our show yesterday. If you want to hear them, you can play it back from yesterday. But right now, we're going to hear from one of her. I wouldn't say one of her associates, the lead attorney. Now, again, I have a lot of respect for lead attorney. I really, really do. I think he puts on a great platform. I think he's doing wonderful things on YouTube. Shout out to the lead attorney. I think he's fantastic. He's a 20 plus year family attorney, divorce attorney, and family lawyer. And again, he has a lot of views on differing things and subjects. And I've learned a lot from the lead attorney. But on this subject, again, he has a certain view on things, and again, it's left to be said if we agree to disagree on certain things. Now, again, if there's one thing that I'll say in defense of Pearly, now I'm not, believe me, I am not in the slightest happy with what she said, and I disavowed myself from her as well. The fact of the matter is she offered no pushback, and if she did have somebody on there who could push back, even on her talking points, which were in agreement with Nick's talking points, then she would have saved herself a lot of grief, but she didn't have that. This was a show in which she wanted to extol her views on certain incendiary topics. So we're going to hear from the lead attorney on certain things, and we're going to get other people's views on these things as well. Let's go.
I did the poll. The poll is 40%.
Oh,
just 30% she is. What do I think? What's my stance? What is your stance, lead attorney? Is Just Pearly the racist? For me, no. No. That's the conclusion that I have come to. She's not a racist. All right? Now, why do I not think that she's racist? Did you hear what she said about your ancestors? All right.
I don't know what's going on here.
Explain this to you guys.
Just to let you know, this just happened tonight.
This is coming from a halfway intelligent, older, 46 black man. All right, now, who am I? How have I come to this conclusion? I'm saying that she's not a racist for me. Maybe some of y'all know her better than me. Maybe some of y'all can correct me. Y'all hung out with her.
This happened tonight, people. I just got onto this.
A lot of things that I haven't heard her say.
The night of this taping, anyways, yes.
Let me tell you why. And I'm not saying that, everybody can have their own opinion. You can have your opinion. Someone else can have their opinion. It's all good. I'm telling you what my little opinion is and how I came to it. Now, for you to understand why I came to this conclusion, you need to know a little something about me. I'm from the South. I don't know if you can hear that. Some people say I have an accent. No damn accent. I'm from Atlanta. A metropolitan city, an international city. We have the busiest airport in the world. How I got an accent? Some of y'all are like, oh, Lee, I don't know. I can hear a little bit. Now, I'm not from California. I don't know what racism looks like over there. I never lived over there. I'm not from New York. Is there racism in New York? A lot of people would say absolutely. Fine. I'll tell you though, racism in the South is a thing. No matter, I know it's a thing in Boston. They tried to kill Paul Pierce. They stabbed him in the face. Boston in particular was wild, man. In California, I know y'all had the Bloods and the Crips. I ain't really hear too much about racism over there, but it's all over the country. I'll tell you this though, if you grow up in Selma, if you grow up in Tuscaloosa, if you grow up in Valdosta, Augusta, Albany, Columbus, Americus, and you're older like me at 46, you probably know a little something about racism. Now, when I was in high school, to kind of help fix the situation that was messed up with the education, my mother entered me into an integration program. It was called Minority to Majority, or M to M. And it would bus little black kids to white schools, to nice white schools, because the schools that we had in our cities were gladiator schools. And guess who got to ride the little bus to a white school? Well, when I step off the bus, are those other students happy that we're stepping off the bus?
Nope.
Forget the students, are the teachers happy
Oh.
that we're stepping off the bus? Are the administrators happy
Nope.
that we're stepping off the bus? This is in high school. Get out of high school, where do I go? To the University of Georgia, the flagship institution of the state, and your national champions. Go Dogs! Go Dogs! We're the national champions of this country. Well, let me tell you something. 35,000 white students. And the majority of these students, you guys might not know this, the majority of students at UJ are from the outer counties of Georgia. They're not from Atlanta. They're not from Fulton County. They're not from DeKalb. A few of them, yeah, but the majority of them are from the outside. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I have been in dining halls with racist white men, with racist young white women. I have been in class. I have been in groups. You know how they assign you to groups? Okay, you're going to be with these 3 people. I've talked to and had to complete assignments and had to work with racist white boys and racist white girls. If you were at UGA in the 90s, you knew racist white girls and racist white boys. And shout out
Just
to them, because everybody can have their...
just another little aside there. I back in the day, pretty close to his day as well, I attended I was at Florida State. Now Florida State, it wasn't as bad as University of Georgia, but I attended Florida State with my cousin Herb. Shout out to my cousin Herb, who's in Fort Lauderdale, and we went to Tallahassee. Now here's the thing about Tallahassee in Florida. Yeah, Georgia was, Florida was, I wouldn't say it wasn't as bad as Georgia, but it was close. It was very close in terms of racial divides within the school body. And the thing about it is, you had a black campus just up the road named Florida Agricultural and Florida FAMU University, Florida Agricultural and Mineral University or something. Yeah. And the fact of the matter is, once you're beneath the Dixie line, there is a divide that you can touch, you can feel, you can taste, you can smell in that environment, because that was the hotbed of slavery in those days. And the fact of the matter is, there was no race mixing. Yeah, you can say hello, you can say hi, but there would be no racial mixing. There would be no racial relations in those days in which he was speaking. None. None, none, none. He is completely right that if you want to find out about full-blown racism, take a trip down there in those days. Especially at that time when it was rampant, it was alive, and it was well. Where a point where groups of black people would have to head out together. Nobody could head out alone, because they were afraid of what could happen to them if they stepped into the wrong neighborhood by chance. So he's right on this sort of thing, but I just want to give you a bit of a background that I know of what he speaks, and it is indeed absolutely true. Let's go. Oh my God. I don't know what happened here. Okay. Come on now, let's go.
Your own opinions, just like you can have yours. A fraternity at UGA got in trouble. Why? Because them white boys would get in a pickup truck and then go behind the crystals. They would go behind the gas stations. What were they looking for? They were looking for homeless black men. They were looking for strung out black women who needed a couple dollars. And what would they do? They would give them a couple dollars. And then they would put them on the back of the truck. Now, where did they take them? Do you know where they took these strung out black women and these these homeless black men who needed? They would take them back to the fraternity house. What would they do? They just let them out on the lawn. What was in the front lawn?
Again, people, before he revealed what was on the front lawn, that's why I said black people in those days never went out alone. They were always in groups, they were always in packs, they were always together, because you didn't want any situation like he's about to describe. He did not want it. And I'm sure in certain circumstances, in certain ways, this still goes on today. When you're underneath the Mason-Dixie line, believe me, this goes on today. Let him explain.
Cotton. And they would just laugh and drink beers and watch these homeless black men pick cotton in front of their $3 million frat houses, their $4 million sorority houses, all on millage. They would just have cotton for these black men to pick for their amusement. And then that Monday, they'd be in class with me. And I know how they talked to me. I know how they looked at me. Guys, I don't know if you might not know. Maybe you're from New York or California. I can feel it in a look. In a look.
You ain't lying.
Oh, you're too sensitive, Lita. Listen. Then I went to law school. Where did I go to law school? the University of Georgia. Oh yeah, I stayed in Athens, man. I stayed there. I stayed there. I love Athens, Georgia. Go Dogs! In my class, in my graduating class of law school, how many of us made it out? How many black men made it out? How many black men were in my graduating class in law school? It was 3 of us. Oh, that's right. Over a class of 200, it was 3 of us. Shout out to my man BLJ. I don't even want to say his name. They be doxing him like they be doxing me. Do you think at the University of Georgia law school where it's just 3 of y'all that you might know a little bit about something, a little bit about racism from my perspective? You think all those professors, those old ass professors, 65, 73, 82, they remember the days. Guys, I would walk down the hallways and see the classes. You see the classes from 54. You see the classes from 63. Not one black person was in there. I was in classes with professors who remember either fondly or not so fondly the integration of the school. Why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because for me, I ain't talking about you. For me, what I've been through, which was not rough at all. Thank the Lord. Let me just hit it. Thank God I missed all of the Woolworth shit, the sit-in shit, the walking down the Selma Highway, get hit with the brick, the dogs, the German shepherds, the damn the water hoses. I missed all of that. Oh my God, thank God I missed all of it. I didn't get the blatant. I got the undercover stuff. My parents, my grandparents would have loved to get the undercover stuff. I'm lucky. Yeah, I ain't complaining.
We just want to get this long form here going on. Thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. We're talking about Just Pearly Things and the Just Pearly Things controversy, and we are recounting the opinion of the lead attorney on this subject and the stance on Just Pearly Things, stance on slavery and Africans over African Americans and all this other stuff. The controversy that is Just Pearly Things right now. I know it's a little long-winded, but you know, as lead attorney would say, he's all about that long stroke. So we gotta let him explain. So you know, he's in his bag right now. He's giving closing statements, quite simply. So I'll let him go.
No integration program where my mom went to school. What no integration program my grandmama went to school.
And again, thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live. We are sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. New spring summer line out now. And thank you for joining me. And we continue.
Black lady had 2 master's degrees. My grandmama, what integration program? Like, I mean, it was blatant. It was flagrant. I missed all of that. Right? Martin Luther King, his church right down the street. I missed all of it. I'm only 46. Why am I telling you this though? Because I have an idea of a racist white man. I have an idea of a racist white woman. I do. I do. I've probably met more racist white men and white women than the majority of you. If you're 25 to 30, don't even come over here looking at me talking about you know what racism is. And it didn't stop there. Because when I got out of law school, where am I at? I'm in the practice of law. Now I went from old ass white law professors to old ass white judges. Oh my God. Do you know what it's like to have a mediocre case, an okay case? It could go either way, and your judge is racist. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't know if I've ever said this. I felt bad for some of my clients. This is when I was younger, because they hired me. Because I would get the sense every now and then that they really weren't getting a fair shake because of my skin color. Guys, judges don't need to screw you in a lot of blatant ways. They can just make one little ruling over here, one little ruling over there, one little ruling out yonder, and your case is messed up. I've got stories about racist judges and racist opposing counsel. And I don't want to say anything that's definitely like the collusion that I have suspected over the years. Everybody's all buddy, and y'all from New York, y'all are from California. Y'all might not know about the good old boy system, the good old boy network. Y'all might not know about all that. You might not know about it. If you come up in the South, man, it's a real thing. Or in Boston. Shout out to Paul Pierce. At any rate, what am I telling you? I'm telling you that in my head, I have an idea of what a racist white man looks like. In my head, I have an idea of what a racist white woman looks like. Does my idea of a racist white woman map cleanly onto yours? No. Why not? You haven't been through my experiences, and I haven't been through yours. Shout out to all the brothers in the military. Is there any military? Are there any older military in here that like where they were from the South? I mean, come on, you ain't ran into no racist white boy. I mean, in the military, I ain't been into the military, so you the heavyweight on that. But you take some soldiers from Valdosta, you take some soldiers from Albany, from Augusta, from Columbus, from Dalton. Like, I've met some racist people. To me, Pearl is not a racist. She's not. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson that just got done cussing me out for 45 minutes. O'Shea Duke Jackson is the man who brought me into this, and he gave me encouragement when I was about to quit, because I thought that I should have, 50,000 subscribers, and I had 800, and I'm looking at dudes with 1,200, and they making videos riding around 285 with their phone on their dick with the damn camera shooting up their nostril, talking about some rap shit. Whereas me, got a nice camera, nice setting. What I thought was nice, my old videos are still up. I got 800, and these dudes got 1,200, 1,800 subs, and I'm getting 2 subs a day. Oh, fuck this. I'm getting 2 subs a day. How many days is it gonna take for me to get to 1,800? Y'all almost ain't see me. It was ridiculous. It took me over a year to get 1,000 subs. O'Shea Duke Jackson helped me out so much. He cussed me out 45 minutes ago, but he helped me out so much in the beginning. I remember, shout out to my brother MTR. When I don't even know how many subs I had, man. It could have been about 30 or 40,000.
We gotta speed this up a bit, people. I'm a.
And I was able to get him on the phone, man. He gave me some game. This is back when I didn't know anything about no damn YouTube. He gave me about 30, 45 minutes of his time, which for me was humongous. Then Kevin has helped me out so much, guys. He opened my eyes to some things where I finally understood what YouTube was about. I had a lack of understanding. I didn't know. I thought I knew because I had, 80,000 subs. I was doing the damn thing. Y'all saw how much money I was making at 50,000 subs. I did a damn video about it. If you want to see how much money I was making with 100,000 subs, go click the link.
Let's just get this sped up a
it's
bit.
In the description. I show you my metrics. How that man $500 trying to figure out what the fuck it was that she was doing, and that channel manager knows a lot. Did the channel manager charge me for going and talking to my mastermind? No. Who's in my mastermind, guys? You want to know who's my mastermind? Black content creators, black YouTubers who need help. I remember when I needed help.
Moving forward a bit more.
In fact, I'll do a one-on-one with you. My racist ass will do a one-on-one with you asking for free. You got 1,000 subs. You can't help me at all. You don't think I can get content from anywhere else? I'm gonna show you my whole system. I'm gonna show you my whole set. I'm gonna explain to you everything. You come look around. Look at what I'm doing. Oh, in fact, you know what? Sit right here. And we'll do a one-on-one. I've got all this exposure. I want you to get exposure. I've got all these subs. I want you to get subs. You get subs.
He's telling, well.
How many racist white women have I been around? It's like, oh, I'm going to help you out, Lena Turkey. Are you crazy? Do y'all know what racist people look like? Do y'all know how racist people act? Maybe I'm 46. Maybe it's me. She took this woman who she didn't need to do anything for. She was super kind to her, super caring. Do y'all know how racists act? Put what they say. What does the manosphere always say about women? What does the manosphere always say about women? Don't listen to what they say. Look at how they act. Look at what she's doing. Now, I don't even want to get into this whole thing about her dating these black men or not. Because, listen, can racist white women get dick from black men? Yes.
Hell yeah.
Me coming up in the University of Georgia, have I ever seen a racist white woman? Do y'all know these racist white women? Or is it just, I don't know, I don't want to keep saying that, but do you see them in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year relationships with black men? Every single one of y'all says that a racist white woman can get dick from a black man. Fair enough. Have you seen a racist white woman be in a 2 year relationship with a black man? A 1.5 year relationship with a black man? A 3 year relationship with a black man? Have you seen? You better than me. Maybe you. I'm telling you my opinion. You got yours. I'm telling you my experiences. You got yours. A racist white woman, right? The University of Georgia, 3 years dating some black man. Where?
Guys, we're gonna be back on part 2 of Talk Live here. We're just continuing what just the lead attorney's talking about this subject on Just Pearly Things. We'll be back in a bit. For those people on YouTube, please stay with me. We are continuing tonight's talk with the lead attorney, and we'll be back soon in a bit. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
They'd be like, oh, you're going to bring home Jordan? Okay, let me go find my pen to redo the wheel. Oh, guess what? She ain't dating Jordan no more. Do y'all know how that works? Are y'all old enough to either understand what I'm talking about? Oh, she ain't dating Jordan no more. Does Pearl's family got a lot of money?
Yes. We are back with just pausing this here.
Family can...
And we are just in the middle of the long stroke with the lead attorney, and he's speaking his taking his stance on just Pearly things, and if she was racist for her views on black people on just Pearly things with her appearance with Nick Fuentes, well-known white supremacist. Anyways, like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, as my man just the lead attorney was just explaining, and we're sponsored by Dun Talk, DUNTALK.com. They still in the bag, and got a new line, spring summer 2023. Go check it out at DUNTALK.com. Let's continue.
Around about the wheel. I'm asking questions. Y'all know her better than me. I've just been around racist people. What do you think? Now, you say, well, lead attorney, what about these goddamn statements now? What about these statements? Racism was embellished, lead attorney. The fuck she's talking about? That's a great question. What the fuck is she talking about? Like, Pearl, think. I mean, it's idiotic. Now, what's Pearl's number? Aside from all this racism shit, what is her number one? What's the number one criticism levied against Pearl? What's the number one criticism levied against Pearl? It's that, from what I see, it's that she regurgitates stuff. Has anybody heard that criticism, or am I just making that up? Has anybody heard that this 26-year-old girl doesn't bring anything original into the space? This 23-year-old girl, it just regurgitates stuff. Kevin Samuel says something, now she's on it. Andrew Tate says something, now she's on it. She regurgitates. Well, now she's on a podcast talking about slavery was embellished. Where did she get that from? She got that from a man. That's not her idea. There's a particular man that wrote some books. My understanding, only like 2 of which Pearl has read. Pearl read some books, a couple of books, and then decided that she was going to get on the show and talk about what she read in those books. Did she have a full understanding of what she read in those books? Hell no. Did she have a full understanding, a full ability to communicate what was in those books? Hell no. My opinion, maybe she disagrees. I don't think she understood what she read. Not fully. I damn sure know she was not eloquent enough, not educated enough, not capable enough to communicate these sensitive topics to the extent that she should have.
Now that was what I was waiting to hear. Even lead attorney, though he says Just Pearly Things wasn't racist, realizes that she made a huge mistake in taking certain comments from Mr. Sewell here. That's Gerald Sewell in the picture. That's where she got her commentary from. She took that way out of context and got it wrong. Simply, purely got it wrong. And you know what would have made it right for someone to be on that panel she had on Just Pearly Things, and because of her hubris, she never did have on. And she could have got the real story. But she was a bit overconfident, a bit cocky. She thought she knew it all, and she decided to go on this tirade, which put her in this predicament in the first place. She should have never been speaking on this in the first place at all, because she wasn't an expert on this subject. This was not where she chose to fight. But again, she went out there and talked about it. I let the attorney explain, because I wanted to get in his full context. But at the end of the day, she entered into business she did not belong. She didn't belong in this affair. And quite simply, this was not her fight. But again, these were her views. She thought, I'm taking a black talking point. Oh, that aligns with mine, so I'm going to take this forward. No. Wrong. Wrong. Just because one black man says it doesn't mean you have to take it to heart, and it goes with that it aligns with your value system and belief system. Just Pearly Things, this is not your fight. This is not your topic in which you should debate. You want to discuss it fairly, discuss it openly with a wider ranging panel. But don't go on there being the aficionado on black folk when you're not black your damn self. That's your mistake. You thought your 1.3 million subscribers would validate you in coming into the space and talking about slavery and having your views. No, no, no. That is not your lane. And that's the big problem we have here. That is not your lane. You want to have a discussion about it? Make sure that you have people who know about it be in on it. But just because you took one black man's viewpoint does not make you an expert. And that killed my respect for you, Just Pearly Things, because quite simply, you're out of line.
I'm talking a complete lack of awareness. A complete lack. Some people can explain shit and some people cannot. And I can tell you this as a 20-year attorney. My whole adult career has been dedicated to explaining things to clients, explaining things to opposing counsel, explaining things to judges, explaining things to you fuckers, explaining things to juries, to you guys. I can tell when a person can communicate stuff. She's 26 years old. I mean, the attempt was idiotic. How many of y'all know who? Put a 1 in the chat if you know who Dan Carlin is. Dan Carlin, YouTube is pushing podcasts and stuff, whatever. Dan Carlin really is the undisputed #1 podcaster on history. #1, hands down. Like there's no dispute. Some of y'all aren't old enough to remember when Jordan was like really doing it. It was no dispute. He was the best.
Yep, I was there.
That's what Dan Carlin is. Dan Carlin has made hundreds of podcasts. He just made podcast on slavery. Basically, because he ran out of topics to talk about. He had talked about everything under the sun. He just said, okay, guys, he's white, by the way. And there's no one more skilled than him. No one in the podcast space. And he just came out with a podcast on racism, on the American slave trade. Let's just say the slave trade, because, you know, it was in a lot of different places. But he talked about slavery, and he had to preface it. He was like, hey, man, listen. Boy, we've been talking for years behind the scenes about whether I should do this or not. 4 years, and I have not. Because how can I? I'm so glad he did, man. I learned so much. There's no one better than him. But look who he is. This man is amazing. Has anyone said Pearl is an amazing communicator? There are a lot of men who might be amazing. But you have to be able to understand the optics, understand what you're doing, and then to be able to communicate it. I mean, Pearl failed on all of that shit. All of it.
When he says just Pearly things failed on all of it, he means that she failed to read the room. She failed to read the room. She saw they were black staff behind the scenes, black producers, black directors, black coordinators, black talent in the background. She knew there were black people of varying intelligence, to say the least, as commentators in the foreground. She knew that too. But she failed to read the room, that what she was saying would not speak well within her base constituency. And if it didn't, she should have been at least responsible enough to offer someone that could push back on the issues that Nick Fuentes were speaking on. But she decided, no, I'm going to try to push back myself. But in the end of the day, they agreed more than disagreed on many subjects, to a point where one of her frequent guests had to check her on what she had to say. And this was on a subsequent broadcast. It wasn't within the same broadcast that came into question here. And that's the problem. Don't be so arrogant that you cannot be checked. You must do your due diligence and make sure that you're foolproof in certain statements before you enter into a subject, as lead attorney referred to Mr. Dan Carlin on certain subjects. Dan Carlin wouldn't touch racism. Just Pearly things did. And incorrectly, to say the least. Irresponsibly, to say the least. And that's why I don't subscribe to her. Because sometimes you can get so arrogant that you can speak on subjects that you shouldn't even be speaking on, and it lands you in trouble. And that leads you to be a foolhardy expert. She's not even an expert. She's just a woman who wants to get paid. And do I want to be contributing to a woman who wants to get paid on something that she hardly knows about or has any experience about? I don't, so I disavow myself. But as lead attorney, to his credit, says, held her feet to the fire and said, you know what? She was dead wrong in what she had to say. But let's see if he goes as far as to disavow himself from Just Perfect, as Mediocre Tutorial Reviews did.
You know, if Andrew Tate says fat women don't deserve a boyfriend, Pearl can parrot that. If Kevin Samuel says, women need to be fit, friendly, and feminine, Pearl can say that. She can explain that. Give this girl some credit. But come on, man, there are limits. I don't know what to tell you. And I'm telling you this, I swear to God, like, this will come to no surprise to Pearl. She knows how I feel about this situation. So it's not like I'm airing her out. It's not like I'm telling her shit that I haven't told her. And it was ridiculous for you to try to do something that you're not capable of doing. I mean, you can try, but come on. And to be fair, man, shout out to my brother MTR, man. He said something in his video that just hit me so hard. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, Pearl's talking about slavery is embellished or this or that. Regurgitating. But that's fine, if that's what you want to do on your own show. But MTR said, it's just the lack of empathy for what real people were going through. It took me so long to listen to that Dan Carlin thing. Let me tell you guys something that they didn't teach us in school. They I'm sure didn't teach me this when they were, at the white school, the integration program that I was in. They didn't teach me this. A white man, Dan Carlin, taught me this. Let me tell you a little something about the slave trade. Dan said that, they would have these slave ships on, just in the ocean, and they were boarding up the slaves. Well, but guess what, guys? It wasn't like they would get 10 slaves on the ship and then just sail across.
No, they dump bodies.
That's not how it happened. They would want to fill the ships up. It's like when they deport these Hispanics. Do you think they just put 3 Hispanics on a plane and then fly the plane to Mexico? They fly the plane to Guatemala? Hell no. They wait till that plane is full and then they go. Well, that's how they used to do it back in the day. They used to wait for the ships to be full. Guys, this is going to break your fucking heart, man. Sometimes it took weeks. Sometimes it took months for those ships to be full. If you were one of the first ones on the ship, you might have to wait 30 days. You might have to wait 60 days on that ship in the sun in Africa. Guys, air conditioning? No. Slave ship, bottom of the hull in Africa. Chained, day and night, people dying, disease, vomit, shit, piss, crime, dead bodies all around for months. You were chained there for months before the fucking ships left, before it came to America, before your slavery started. Some of those slaves were on the ship for 200 days. They were on the ship for 230 days before the trip. This is not an embellishment. This is just reality. Sometimes, guys, y'all know they would brand the slaves. Can you imagine what it is to just, be in shackles and they hold you down and they take the damn iron out of the fire and just something like that'll change your life. Well, guess what? they would put them on the ship after they were branded. And then they would just stay on the ship waiting for the ship to leave, but it would take weeks, months. Well, guess what? In that time, these white people, they were wheeling and dealing. I'll trade you my 15 slaves for your 30 slaves and $30. So sometimes the slaves would be sold while they were in the ship. Well, what does that mean?
Yeah, to wait another 30 days. Another 60 days.
What
No,
does it
90
mean
days.
if you're in the slave ship and you're sold? It means they have to take you off the ship and they have to rebrand you. Can you imagine being branded multiple times? As a man, as a woman, as a child, branded multiple times. You haven't even left for the States.
And this is where just Pearly things just don't get it. That's the sort of inhumanity upon man that she says was embellished. No, it wasn't embellished. It's, as many have said, way worse than she ever thought. It wasn't all bad. No. It was worse than you ever thought. What it took for me and my ancestors to get here was worse than you ever thought imaginable. It was the worst atrocity, one of the worst, if not the worst atrocity, from human to human ever documented in human history. Ever. And multi-millions of people died because of it. A race was nearly wiped out because of it. But it wasn't that bad, right? It was an embellishment, right? It was a myth for people to cling to, right? Just Pearly?
So when MTR says, where's your compassion for people? He's absolutely right. I mean, I don't know if it's easier to have compassion for people when you're older, or it's easier to have compassion for people when you've been through things. There was no compassion in what she was saying about slavery being embellished.
Nope. And that is why I have disavowed myself, as has MTR, as many others, and many other from Just Pearly Things. And to those who are still there, who still see what she said as nothing wrong, shame on you. Absolutely shame on you. And for you to sit there, complicit in her actions, say, oh, she's not racist, oh, she's paying me, or shame on you. Because you're as much as part of the problem as she is. And we know where your loyalties lie. It lies with the money that your ancestors died for. Code? What code? Your code is the almighty dollar. The almighty pound, King Riches. Shame on you.
But whatever. I mean, the whole thing is just, listen, people can talk what they want to talk to about on their show or whatever, but that was terrible. Now, her making these statements, which I think are idiotic. This man might not think her statements are idiotic, probably because this might be the generator of those statements. I think they're idiotic, whether they come from him or Pearl. Either way, if Pearl is regurgitating these arguments that this man has put forth, whatever. Taking it as a whole, taking into account she's regurgitating this man's arguments and taking into account what she's done for black content creators, taking into account my history with black racist white women and racist white men, young and old. If I take all of that into account and I sit back, I don't let my emotions drag me, incite me, prejudice me. I take all of it and I ask myself, is this 26-year-old girl, does this map out to what you know from all your experiences with young and old racist white women? Does it map on to her? And it doesn't. It doesn't. Maybe you disagree, and that's fine.
I disagree.
Now,
Again, I disagree.
I was on an IG
And I'll show you why in a minute.
live yesterday, and Pearl comes up. What does Pearl start saying? Pearl starts saying that she wants to go to war. This 26-year-old girl talking about she want to go to war. That, she's, I don't want to misquote her, offended, enraged, or whatever. And she's hyped up. Why? That wasn't her stance before all of this stuff started. Well, I'll tell you what I think it is. And I could be wrong. This is just my thoughts on it. She did a interview / collaboration with Obsidian. And in that collaboration, and then she also put out a video on her own channel. I think that video that she put out, the response to that video that she put out on her own channel, and the response that she got from Obsidian's channel is a big influence in this. What was the response? Support. She got so much support from black people saying there's no way you should have apologized. There's no way you should have apologized. Now, everybody had their own different reasons about why she should apologize and why she should not apologize. There was a ton of support. Just go back and read the comments. And I think, again, I could be wrong. I think that support is kind of like, hey, people are supporting me, let's go. You guys want to make hit pieces on me? Let's go. Do I think that's the right thing to do? No. It's not. Let me tell you guys.
Let me say this. For just really things to start going on out to war and getting those who disapprove of her views and her viewpoints, especially on slavery, especially on the black diaspora, Dead wrong. That's two wrongs not making a right. And to those who think, oh, support her on these certain views, I don't know what to say. You're entitled to your views, but quite simply, you've forgotten where you came from and the story in which she has explained. I don't know what to say. You're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to it. But I think you need to have your head checked. I think you need to have the story replayed. I think you want to forget when you should remember. I think you're off code when you should be on code. Quite simply, it's reprehensible how you think that she can get a pass for her views on African Americans, from average African Americans and the slave trade. That's my feeling on things, but you're entitled to your opinion. But I'm just saying. For you to support her in those views, clearly, either you want to forget about the past, or you're not brought up to speed about the past. And it's shameful.
That's some behind the scenes stuff. All mid-size and big YouTubers, we all have brands. I have the lead attorney brand. I have my reputation that I risk on a daily basis just coming out here and talking to you. Just Pearly Things has a brand. MTR has a brand. O'Shea Duke Jackson has a brand. Guys, we need to protect these brands. And sometimes our brands can be put at risk for things that are not of our doing. Sometimes you can get pulled into some shit. I don't want to go too far into this because I don't want to step out of my place. I will. Let me tell you about MTR for a second. I gotta be careful how I say this. MTR's brand got pulled into some shit. Y'all know MTR. Y'all know that dude's heart. Y'all know it. Is there a mob? Yeah. Put the mob aside. We don't pay no damn attention to no mob. Y'all know this man. His brand got pulled into some shit.
It did. It did.
My brand got pulled into some shit. Now, not like his. I avoided a lot of the bullshit because I canceled my flight. I canceled my flight. I mean, not because of this. I just like, man, I ain't going all the way over there. Shout out to Melanie King. Melanie King's brand got pulled into some shit.
And again, shout out to the mediocre tutorial reviews. And the stand-up job he did denouncing said statements and disavowing himself from Just Pearly Things. He did the right thing, in my opinion. He did. He did. He recognized the mistake, corrected it, took accountability, and disavowed himself from the views of one Just Pearly Things. So I stand with mediocre tutorial reviews. He did the right thing. He did the right thing. He thought to give this lady a break, Just Pearly Things. She turned around and clearly took advantage of his allowance of basic basic collaboration on certain things and business affairs and his platform and his channel and his subscribers and his views, and took advantage of it. And he chose to disavow himself. That's a man's man. That's a man that said, you know what, I stand on principle and not on dollars. Unlike King Riches, who's too close to the subject matter to give up now because he's dependent on it all. But again, that shows lack of scruples. But then again, we've already explained that yesterday. But let's let my man continue.
Guys, listen. When your brand gets pulled, when you get pulled into some shit, guess what? You're in it. And you guys don't know the amount. You guys don't really know what it's like to have, 5,000 people commenting some shit. You go on IG, here go, what is this? You go on TikTok, what is this? You go on fucking Twitter, oh, you're running. Go on YouTube, weren't you over there with Pearl? Oh, you over there with the white girl. This is what I think that Pearl is not considering. Is that the little girls say, oh, I want to go to war, I want to go, okay, whatever, okay. And I know some of y'all are like, oh, well, 26, I'm 25, she's a grown woman. She absolutely is a grown woman.
Well, here's the thing, right? What did she go into war for? A war that she started. Just really things, what war are you going to? What war are you beginning? You want to go to war with whom? And with what? With statements that you began. This is the war you started. So what war do you want to go with, Just Pearly Things? What war do you want to go to when you started the war? There was no conflict. You were riding high. If you would balance your arguments, balance your statements, got a little pushback with some of his racist views, hey, having an incendiary guest on your show wouldn't have hurt so much. But now you want to go to war. It's not as if Fuentes gave you this look like this. He's saying, holy Jesus, he's agreeing with me. I can't believe this. Wow, I couldn't have lucked out even more. I got more views. I'm going to get more followers. And Just Pearly Thing is now going to be viewed as somewhat of a hero to white-wing white supremacists. Just like Kanye did, unfortunately. So what war are you trying to start, Just Pearly Things? When the war was already begun by yourself.
She should absolutely be held accountable for whatever. 26 shit. You grown.
You grown, exactly. What?
I'll tell you this though, like, once you get older, man, if you ain't 30, I don't even want to get into that. I look at myself when I was 26. Oh, this is some of this shit. I was just an idiot. And, I don't think she's too far away. And this whole going to war thing, I think it's a bad idea. And I think that she should understand what it is to have to protect your brand. And she should.
And remember, a lead block has been run already by King Richards. King Richards running a lead block for her. I don't know about Sarah Garvey. He hasn't exactly come out himself yet. But a lead block has already been run for him by King Richards. And it's a sorry-ass lead block to say the least, but again, he got to get paid, right? To hell with slavery, right? You either stand for something or sit for nothing. Or something to that effect.
Also understand that it was her comments that caused it.
Thank you. I'm glad you brought that to our attention, lead attorney. She's the one who started the war, so I don't know. I just said it. What do you mean by going to war? Your comments started the war. So what war are you going to? That's what I'm saying. To put all your trust into a white woman of 26 years old is dangerous. Especially a white woman who had these views in her back pocket and waited until she hit 1 million subscribers to put it out there. And yet hid behind the coattails of George Soule and said, he's the one who said it, not me. It's not my views. Really? Really? GPT. Okay.
And Pearl, either you're watching this or you're gonna see it, and you need to take that into account. Some of these people made statements, but they would not have made those statements if it wasn't for you regurgitating shit.
Thank you.
And now that they've had to make statements, now you want to go to war based on the statements that they made.
That you started.
They kind of had to make to protect their brand based on what
you said. She started the war. What war you want to start? The war's already begun. You started it.
Now, regular people might not.
You started it.
Talking about. Content creators understand what I'm talking about. It's not their fault.
It's not their fault. And you know what? It teaches us all a lesson. And listen, lead attorney's got a hell of a minefield to navigate through because he's aligned himself with her by simply stating that she is not racist, but quite simply, she does have racist views. She may not be racist, but she does have racist views. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's call a spade a goddamn spade. She has racist views. She may not be racist, but she has racist views. And quite simply, she started a war that she wants to start again. And the fact of the matter is, you put yourself in a whole heap of trouble. Knowing that your constituency are black folk. And that's why I say, beware of false gods. Just Pearly thinks a false god that people put too much stock into. And because of Jason Black, she was exposed. And because of that, we saw that the emperor had no clothes. It's up to you to govern yourself accordingly. And that's why MTR had to disavow himself. And that's why I disavow myself. I'm not listening. Listen, I've unsubscribed. I've taken myself away because I've been shown that the emperor has no clothes. She has no experience. She has no stake in the game to be considered a leader in these issues. And quite simply, she's been found out for who she really is. My opinion. Again, a person can love black people, but they can have racist views. Believe me. Believe me. One is not a monolith. But let's continue here.
Now, Pearl, you might not have liked the way that certain people responded. And you've got a lot of people backing you. A lot of people saying you should never apologize and this and that. I get it. But the only reason anybody is in this situation is because of what you said, and other people got pulled in it. And I think that needs to be taken into account. So that is my stance on just Pearly things.
Thank you very much, lead attorney. Thank you oh so much. It's 10:46 right now, so we're gonna have to extend this to a third night. Yeah, we're gonna have to extend this to a third night because quite simply, that was a lot to take in, but that's the sort of quagmire, that's the sort of minefield people have to go through. And shout out to a man like, let me just go back to the full cam, the lead attorney. He gave a full length view of his views. He has a certain amount of gravitas to back up whatever she has to say. Whatever he has to say, sorry. My bad. And it is he not only gave her a bit of grace by not calling her racist, but the fact of the matter is he did not go easy on her. He held her feet to the fire because what she said it, and as she said it, dead wrong. It was dead wrong. It was dead wrong. And thank you very much, Mike TV. You are correct. Thank you very much, Mike TV. It's dead wrong. You need to be accountable for your actions. And whatever comes, it comes and you have to deal with it. Just Pearly things. You lose viewers, you lose viewers. You have a undying stream of supporters. You have an undying stream of supporters, be they black or whatever. And she said nothing wrong. That is, well, it's stunning to me. But anyways, they're entitled to their opinion. And you have to live with that. But don't ever say that you need to go to war. Who are you going to war with when you started the war? Just Pearly things. And where everything that's coming to you is deserved because you're a 26-year-old woman, you have 1 million views on YouTube, and you were irresponsible. You were clearly irresponsible. And you showed us your true colors in my estimation. You did. You may like black people, but there's certain black people you like. And certain black people you don't. And in my theory, take that as you will, those Africans who weren't considered slaves, oh, you like them because they're hardworking, intelligent, and that's all well and good, but it's the rank and file African Americans you have distaste for. That's why you say, their slavery wasn't that bad, and Africans are better than African Americans. You want to bring all your Africans to the United States and have them adopt because, again, they work so hard for you, which is racist in and of itself, if you didn't think that. So, I disavowed myself of you, and many others have, including your former associate, mediocre tutorials and reviews. And anything that you got coming to you, you started, you got to deal with it. You got to take it. Take it on the chin, take it in the ass, whatever. But don't ever think that the onus is on someone else when it's on yourself. Don't ever believe that you can hide behind somebody else's coattails, aka King Riches, and think you're going to get away with this. You've shown your true colors, in my estimation. And that needs to be said. Point blank, period, needs to be said. And tomorrow on the channel, we're going to get into some more views of said variety. We're going to offer differing views as well, but that was a little long-winded, but I had to give that sort of long-winded answer because, hey, listen, it was a quagmire that the lead attorney had to go through, and he did it ever so skillfully through his 20 years of litigation experience as a divorce / family attorney lawyer. So tomorrow night we're going to go into part 3 of the show. We're going to get some more views on the show. We're going to complete the week on the show. Tomorrow will be the last day on this subject. People know my views on this issue, and that is, I want nothing to do with what Pearly Things has to say. Quite simply, she is an emperor who has no clothes. She is a bit too arrogant for my taste, and we're finally found out what she truly thinks on certain things, because she already has the base to do it. Now she thinks she's high and mighty, and so she's letting loose. And part of that coming out plan was inviting Nick Fuentes onto the show and extolling the views that she truly has about black people. And it's a shame, especially not only for her, but also for her staff and also for her supporters, who are clearly blind to reality, in my opinion. And they're entitled to do as they want, and they say please, but we know where their allegiances and their support lies. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk to Talk Live. We're going to be taking Just Pearly Things Part 3. The controversy continues tomorrow night, Part 3, final night. We'll not go further with this any longer. We're just going to get a few more comments, a few more tidbits, including one, which I have been saving, which brought it home to me. One opinion that brought it home to me, and which really had me pull away from anything Just Pearly Things had to say going forward. Thank you very much for joining me on Talk to Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Thank you, Mike T. Thank you for everyone who was involved in the talk. We're going to be chopping this up and sending it out to the people. This is a very, very huge topic on YouTube, and we are going to chop it up even further anyways. And again, I just wanted to thank you for joining me on Talk Talk Live on IG and YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. Spring summer line out now, including this hoodie, which I have right here. I think it's very nice. Look, it's got basketball in the back. Basketball in the back. And from the back of the bar, I say good night. I say thank you very much for joining me. We'll be back tomorrow night to finish out this subject. So I say good night from Toronto, IG. And to my people on YouTube, good night. Sponsored by Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. The basketball kit is available now on Duntalk, DUNTALK.com. Thank you very much for joining me.